What is up, everyone, and welcome to a very special edition of the Daniel Show. I'm your host, Daniel Cody, and this is where I give commentary and reviews on all things wrestling. Thank you guys so much for joining. Let's start off this night with a review on AEW's All In, which consisted of an audience of 81,035 people at Wembley Stadium in London, England, where WWE was previously a month prior for Money in the Bank. And of course, that stadium and the attendance shows that it would make an excellent place for WrestleMania, in my humble opinion. But let me know in the comments what you think about that. Do you agree that WWE would make a great appearance of WrestleMania in London? Let me know. But let's talk about the opening contest. We had our opening with CM Punk with a mixed reaction versus Samoa Joe, Ring of Honor TV champion, who got a much greater reaction. And first off, I thought it was very entertaining. We saw CM Punk take a page out of John Cena's playbook, as well as channeling his inner Hulk Hogan with the leg drop, which Samoa Joe kicked out at in 1 second. Samoa Joe channeled his inner Hulk Hogan during this. We also saw him do the Ole chants and had a little fun with the crowd tonight. However, due to a Pepsi like pedigree from the top rope, it was Samoa Joe who would win this match. No, it wasn't. My apologies. It was CM Punk doing the pedigree that would win that match. And CM Punk would be seen showing love to a person with a sign about transgender rights, which got an ovation. We also noticed some guest appearances in that night. Before we get into this next match, I really love the tribute that CM Punk gave, paying homage with the leg hold into the late great Terry Funk. Thought that was really cool. The next match saw the Bullet Club, which consists of Jay White and, among others, insects. I hate those creatures. I hate them. But in any event, sorry about that. We had the Bullet Club versus Kota Ibushi, Adam Page, and Kenny Omega. And may I just say this? I don't talk a lot about AEW, but let me just say this. Don Callis gets booed like Simp 19 Dom. But on another note, Don Callis's theme song sounds like a dark sexual ambient subliminal. It sounds like a succubus subliminal. If you listen, let me know if am I the only one who thinks Don Callis's theme song sounds like a dark demonic sexual subliminal. I don't know how people sleep to that kind of crap. But in any event, moving forward, I can't stand Don. He's a traitor. Great six-man trio tag. And the worst part about it is, as great as the trio tag was, the Bullet Club won, which means we all were subdued to that darn music that again sounds like a succubus subliminal. This how do people actually like that kind of stuff? But do whatever you want. I'm just being humorous, but it sounds like a darn subliminal for a succubus. That's what Don's theme sounds like to me. And we had an amazing tag team match between the Young Bucks and FTR. We noticed that FTR had an armband paying tribute to both Jay Briscoe, Terry Funk, and the late Bray Wyatt, which I'm not completely over. And I will say this. Everyone giving tribute to Bray Wyatt, the sad part is that he was gone at 36. When Funk died, I was like, darn it. When Bray died, that just messed me up. But the armbands were tribute, and everybody was so big on tributing him. Notice that some of these, you have a lot of content creators, WWE wrestling wise. Many of them are known for making dark humor, and others are known for being very, for making community posts that are very lustful towards some of the female wrestlers and talking about cakes and whatever the heck not. But that's their business. Everyone has the right to do whatever they want. But it was like celebrating Bray Wyatt gave us the day off from all the dumb humors and all the lustful community posts that some of the wrestling fans post to show female wrestlers cakes and whatnot. So it was great to see people take a break just to celebrate how great Bray Wyatt was. But tonight we had a great match. We saw them pay homage to the late wrestlers who passed this year. We also saw a lot of thievery. We saw the BTE move a couple of times. We saw the Young Bucks steal FTR's BTE move. No, BTE is by the Young Bucks. It is, I believe, it is called the Shattered Machine from FTR. And Young Bucks stole that, and they gave a couple of BTEs of their own. It wasn't enough, but it was another Shatter Machine by FTR that would win this amazing tag match. I really enjoyed that. I loved how we saw both guys go to Suplex City and Brock Lesnar wasn't even there. This is AEW, but it was a great tag team match. Unfortunately, after the match, the Young Bucks did not show respect, but FTR now stands for Fear the Revival, because we all know that the FTR was used as a diss that the Elite pulled for saying Freak the Revival. But now it's about respecting and fearing the Revival, who are amazing tag teams, and this was a great match. Another match that was it was a tornado tag. We're having a lot of tag team matches tonight. A tornado tag match between the Combat Club and Best Friends with Orange Cassidy, Penta, and Kingston, who started off the match charging into Claudio. Let me just say this. First of all, thank you guys so much for the amazing amount of views that you gave to my SmackDown review, which was tribute to Funk and Bray Wyatt. But also, let me just say this. While that tornado tag match on SmackDown was too PG to be a tribute to Terry Funk, this match would make Terry very proud because it was brutal and it was very entertaining. They fought all over the stadium. We saw Moxley get sticks. Notice Moxley greeted a kid with a pat on the head as he was coming through the crowd. And also, we noticed how Moxley had sticks poking out his head. We might as well call him Sticky Head Mox. But it was brutal. We saw glass. We saw Orange Cassidy put glass around his taped wrist, to which he would use eventually to win the match with a Superman punch using that same glass fist. That is a match that Terry Funk would applaud in heaven. What we saw on SmackDown was too PG. But this is how you have a Terry Funk style hardcore tornado match, the Stampede match. And we saw Eddie Kingston come out bloodied up with a chair and would use it. We saw Sue in the van with cookies. But eventually, like I said, it was Orange Cassidy that got the pinfall for the team. We saw a women's four-way match with Saraya, who came out to Freddie Mercury's We Will Rock You. Also, we saw Young Bucks pay homage to Freddie Mercury with the jackets as well. So we saw that, and then we had my other favorite, I think one of my top favorite wrestlers of AEW, Britt Baker, DMD. By the way, you can't say Britt without saying that. versus the AEW Women's Champion and Tony Storm. Tony Storm has an alliance with Ruby Soho and Saraya that might have been cut short because she accidentally hit Saraya's mother, who came with the family to ringside with her. Then that just tore everything up. They ended up fighting amongst each other. Ruby Soho came and tried to slow it down. That was no luck in that. They ended up fighting, and so we would see Britt Baker try to take down the current women's champion with the claw, but she was very smart, keeping her mouth closed, which is what a lot of people should do for Mankind, and what many should have did for the Fiend. God rest his soul. Um, the heavens have let him in, but they should have did this. Every time the lights got red and you felt the Fiend's presence, you should have just did this. If you keep your mouth closed, the Fiend can't put the claw in. But anyway, tribute to the Fiend there. Can't believe he's gone so young, though, man. My thoughts are with his family. Moving forward, congratulations, Saraya would eventually win the championship using her patent DDT on Tony Storm and winning the match in her home country of England, which I thought was very awesome, right in front of her family. Cool theme song, by the way, Zombified. We saw Swerve and Christian Cage versus Sting and Darby Allin. Sting's entrance with the coat and the hat reminds me of Finn Balor when NXT TakeOver London 2015 happened, I believe, in December. That when he faced off against Samoa Joe. Great entrance. Somebody tell me in the comment section below if you're watching this, if you know the name of that special theme song that Sting and Darby came out to, please put that in the comment section below, please, because I thought that was a very cool song. We saw that was a pretty good tornado tag match. And first of all, what's the difference between um, London, England steel and American steel? Because that table that Sting put Swerve through is supposed to be made of English steel, British steel. So, does British steel, what's the difference? I'm just curious about that. For anyone watching, you may be from England or from overseas, please let me know so that I can understand the humor or the reference. Nonetheless, a pretty good tag match that eventually Sting and Darby Allin would win. The fact that Sting can do all these things at his age is amazing, first of all. Say that real quick. But I'm curious. When they closed the coffin, Swerve's dreadlocks were still left hanging. So wouldn't that mean that the match should have continued? Because keep in mind, when the back closed, when Sting was in the casket and they closed it, the bat still remained. So I don't know if that counts as blockage or not, but apparently, according to them, having dreadlocks out won't count as a blocker, and Sting and Darby would win the match. Pretty cool one. Then we had Chris Jericho, who sung himself into the arena to face off against Will Ospreay. Will Ospreay was somewhat of a face tonight because he was in his home country of England, while there were still fans that loved Chris Jericho. And so this was a good match also. First thing, great shooting star press by Will Ospreay, as well as the nice Sky Twister. It's called the Sky Twister. That Sky Twister that Will Ospreay delivered on the outside was very awesome. I really enjoyed that as well. It was a great match. We saw Don Callis with the Succubus theme song put Chris try to distract the referee, while Chris Jericho had Will Ospreay in the walls of Jericho. That only helped Sammy Guevara come and distract and help Chris Jericho. So it went against you, Don, and your succubus theme song. And but that wasn't enough because we would see a lot of great moves, but it was actually the Stormbreaker. It took two Stormbreakers to keep Chris Jericho down and win this match. So now we have two classics that Will Ospreay won. One against Jericho earlier tonight, and the other against Kenny Omega earlier this year. In our next match, we would have the House of Black versus the Acclaimed with Billy Gunn. Now, let me just say, I really love the House of Black's entrance and how they paid homage to the late great Bray Wyatt, especially with Buddy Murphy's leaving the lantern in the middle of the entryway. That entrance was perfect, and I love that the commentators acknowledged him. And like I said, it's still fresh to me a bit, and it really sucks, but great tribute to him. I really appreciate that part. I really thought it was cool. But moving forward, we saw that. We saw the Acclaim come in, and they were awesome. Their rhymes were great. We would see, first off, what happened to Julia Hart is what we wish would happen to Rhea, because Julia Hart, apparently in AEW, guys are allowed to get physical with the women if provoked. This is what we want to see happen to Rhea Ripley in WWE. The day this happens in WWE, I'm going to run laps and scream and shout. But in any event, we saw that. We saw a great trios match. However, in the end, it would take a whole lot of work, and both members of the Acclaim pinning, I believe, Brody King at the same time to win. Also, fun fact, we saw a cameo. Mercedes Monet, formerly known as Sasha Banks, one of my favorite female wrestlers, was in appearance tonight, and she really enjoyed the Acclaim winning. As you can see her grooving to the theme. Acclaim, they are new trios tag champions, and the House of Black showed them respect. Now let's get on to this main event with Adam Cole versus MJF, who had a lot of female entry participants bowing before the devil. And so I'll be honest, the match was good. I thought it was going to be MJF to make the turn, but then it was teased that Adam Cole would be making the turn, because as great as the match was, we saw Roderick Strong appear and try to stir the pot and make Cole go against MJF in dirty forms. We saw hot potatoes with chairs, and then we saw MJF take a page out of Eddie Guerrero's book, but doing something in a more modifying way by having the chair folded up around his neck so that they could believe it was him. So it was a great match, a lot of hilarious moments. There was a part where the double clothesline got the double count out, but they said 5 minutes isn't enough. We're going to finish this right here in freaking Wembley Stadium. Nonetheless, despite all of the distractions, and mostly due to the distraction of Roderick Strong, Undisputed Era member, it would be MJF that would win with the roll up. And at first, it was almost as if, again, they made it seem like it would be Cole to make the turn. I'm used to thinking it was going to be MJF to make the turn, but it was Cole. But they made it look like Cole would make it. No one made a turn, and they would eventually hug it out. The fireworks would go off. Maybe MJF is a changed man. It's kind of like this is one of those scenarios where if a husband hits his wife in the eye and says, "I'm sorry, baby, I'm so sorry. I'll never hit you again," and actually doesn't do it. Because mostly you will hear someone tell you, leave that man. If he'll hit you in the eye again, if he hits you in the eye the first time, he'll hit you in the eye again. But this is one of the scenarios where the domestically abusive husband actually changes his ways. So maybe there's hope. Maybe MJF has changed. Hmm. Let me know in the comment section what you think. That's all the time I have for you today, and I'll be back with another review on all things wrestling. Do you think MJF is a changed man? Answer that. That's the real question. Let me know in the comment section below, and I'll see you next time on All Things Wrestling. Now I'm about to let it smack down on this insect because I hate insects. See you later.